What's up, boo-boo? It's shiny now. Good evening, Elena. Welcome back. And Tracy Stankus, I think your name is a new name. I don't think we've seen you yet, have we? Thank you for joining. Now do it with marble. Yes, that is definitely some next levelness, marble. Though most people that work at marble basically do a clay sculpt to this level of completion first, then come back, which would be interesting. I'm totally down for that. Adventure. I think the next piece I do will probably be in clay as well. Probably next week. Probably next week. Probably get started on a new one. Is there a story? Oh, cat, is there a story? Yeah, there's a story. Definitely mythological, but it's kind of a mythology that I made up. A little bit, anyway. We definitely have a female figure here, obviously, and she's, I think, a little mystical. She's floating, right? She's not terrestrial. And she's receptive to this bird landing in her hand, receiving it. And if you look at her face, it's definitely a positive, pleasant. One side it actually looks more, this looks more like the sad face on this side, and that looks, looking at your camera right now, that's more of a smiling on that face. So I like the mixed emotions going on. And she's receptive to the bird. It's landing in her hand. The phoenix, of course, representing reincarnation, rebirth, all of that. But in this case, she's, if you notice in her hand holding a knife, she's going to sacrifice her bird. And in so doing, take her self-actualization into her own hands. It's a self-actualization piece. Not waiting for the bird to reincarnate itself, but taking control of our own destiny and manifesting our own reincarnation. At least this is how I view it. But other people have had other interpretations, and I invite them. What do you have any thoughts? What are your interpretations? What does this mean to you? I am working on the hand with a knife. I'm putting the effort in.
You're getting roses.
I got roses. Wow, I feel pretty. I don't really know what that means, but thank you, whoever gave me roses. Maybe whoever gave me roses can explain to me what it means to receive roses. That would be a cool start. And while you do so, I'm getting out the blowtorch. I love screwing around with the blowtorch. Any clue what I might sculpt next? That is a good question. I definitely was considering a male figure. It's been a while since I've worked with a male figure. I like the idea of working with a male figure, but at the same time, I don't know. Right now I'm just very drawn to the feminine. You know? So I don't know if I'll work with a male next or another female. Good night, son. That was my youngest that just left, if you saw him. In the periphery there. And when that cools off, I'll take a drink of wine. How do I cast? Yeah, very carefully. It's going to be a pain in the ass. It's going to be a silicone mold. With a fiberglass outer structure to hold it in place. But to be honest with you, I've definitely had a lot of pontificating here on stream, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do a 3D scan first. Got a lot of experience in 3D. It's been my majority of my career. It's my comfort zone. And part of me didn't want to do that, right? Get out of that, stay entirely traditional. But it was actually Haley here on the stream that convinced me that I should do a digital scan. She had a very strong rationale as to why. And that was that if you reference back to my particular philosophy of what art is the not clay or paint or anything else, metal or any other medium. It's the conception moment inside the eye of the consumer, the observer, you or me, people. Right? And it's in that frontal lobe. It's that electricity strike of perception, conception. That's what art is. So in other words, a lump of clay in my house or a piece of bronze based on the clay is not art by my definition. Getting it into your hands is. So, back to her argument, I should 3D scan it because then I can do a scale down of it and potentially a 3D print at a smaller scale. And the scenario anyway that I visualize happening with that is, you know, any one of you could acquire it, could sell it at a more reasonable price. You could have it on your desk. And if this is an environment that you enjoy, you know, this is a chill environment and you're enjoying this, and you're having a work day that's not chill, and this woman, this figure, this sculpture is on your desk because it's smaller and it's affordable, and it brings you to this place at that time of need. If it's art for you throughout your day in whatever form you need, then that feels like a pretty massive win to me. So, back to Haley's argument, I think it's a good idea to 3D scan this so I can produce it at a smaller scale. It's a long story, Timothy. I don't know if anybody wanted to hear that. Are you a Satanist? Asking because of the sacrifice. Well, I think maybe you need to check your history a little bit, because almost every single religion in history has sacrifices. Judaism, Christianity, the Egyptians, American Indians, and they have a variety of religions. You can't single them into one religion. Every single religion has had sacrifices. And again, that's not necessarily even a religious thing. A sacrifice is a psychological, spiritual thing, not necessarily even a religious one. You make sacrifices every day. Everyone does. So I think you're keying in on the wrong word. Chifi Yanto Tushka. It's a good name. Is that American Indian, or is that something else? Really screwed up that knuckle. I'll let it harden a little bit before I come back and screw it this morning. Just screwing up left and right. Okay. What do you plan on sculpting next? How do you wrap it up? How do I wrap it? I don't wrap it. One question at a time. I don't wrap it because it's oil-based. I don't have to. So I'll answer the easy one first. I don't have to wrap this up because it's oil-based, so I'll just let it sit overnight, and it does not dry out. It's oil-based clay. What am I going to do next? Well, Rachel, yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Part of me was drawn. I'm wanting to do a male figure, but I also just, I don't know, right now, maybe I'm getting in touch with my feminine side, but I don't know, I'm feeling very drawn to the female figure right now. So, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll do a little of both. Maybe I'll do a piece with a male and a female figure. Put someone for me. Choctaw. Nice. Interesting. How much will I sell this for? $1 million. I don't know. I really want to get it into people's hands, so I will probably figure out what the price is of reproduction, because there is no real original with sculpture. It'll get cast and reproduced. So whatever that, I'll have to figure out what that cost is but I want to get it out there. I don't want to have a piece that just sits in or in anyone's house. I don't want it to sit in a singular place. I want it to get out there into the world for people to experience it. So I'm going to figure out how to make it. I don't know. I'll talk about it here on the stream, and I'll get it up on the site. I'll figure out how to get it out there if you guys want a production of this. Sell it to Elon Musk. Oh, Leda. The humor and the irony of that statement. Do you know, Elena? What do you know about me? What do you know about me? What secrets do you know? How do I keep it upright? Well, that's a question I can answer. Where's the camera? There it is over there. 5/16 steel. That's what she's made of. That's her endoskeleton. She She has steel going throughout her entire body. So she's going nowhere. She's bolted inside here, her toe, and then this is not the final. That'll go away. But I've hidden 2 of them inside the sculpt. Hand of faith, that's exactly what I was calling it. Well, what is cool medium, that's for sure. It's obviously negative only, not negative and positive as far as, you're removing material. It's negative sculpting. So you mess up, you're done. You can't add back, whereas with clay, you can add back. Haunted house music, oh, not really. Not too anyway, more jazz, but I guess it's a little dark right now. That one will take to finish. I've been on this for a while now. I started in the beginning of January, so I'm going to finish this up probably in the next week. So, hence people ask me what's next. I'm going to get this girl all tightened up here. Probably get into another piece sometime next week. Baldur's Gate, nice. What's in her hand? Well, that is intended to be a knife. Hawk Shop Raid. I don't know what that means, but hello. A lot of something just happened on Twitch. No idea what's going on. Hello, Filey. You snuck in. You're a sneaky girl. Hello, sneaky girl. So I don't fire this clay. It's going to get cast into resin and then other materials like bronze. Moonlit Dampier. Thank you. How does the torch help? Because playing with a torch is fun. That's why. That's how. Because who doesn't want to sculpt with heat and flame? My thoughts on it is that sculpting is really getting the mass in the right places. It's not about the surface of the details so much, for at least most of it. It's about getting the mass in the right place. And when you do have the mass in the right place, you can sculpt with heat in that you're working with gravity and surface tension. And so yes, it is just melting. But what happens when it melts is a product of what's done before. So if you're sculpting mindfully with the idea that you're going to use heat as a sculpting tool, it does really cool stuff, right? If you got it right, if you got it wrong, well, it looks terrible. But you can see where it's terrible, and that can, again, be educational. You can see where you need to change things. So it's either a really cool tool to finish the surface or improve the surface, or it's a really cool tool to elucidate yourself as to what's not working. You can kind of, whether it's the lighting or whatever, you can kind of fool yourself into thinking, oh, this is certain areas working when it really just isn't. And when it, it changes its consistency because of the heat, it becomes pretty obvious what's working, what isn't. And then also just using the gravity. So like with the flame and with her hair, the heat was fun because letting the gravity pull the wet clay down was just cool. It is just cool. It's kind of addictive. Like I kind of play with it a little bit more than I probably should or need to anyway. I don't know what word should means, but more than I need to, because it's just cool to watch the clay essentially droop and to try to control that with heat. Add more heat where you want it to droop. Without, burning the clay, because it will burn, even though it's oil-based, or, setting a fire alarm. Also a downer. When you have 3 kids asleep upstairs. And a cranky wife. Because who wants to wake up to a fire alarm? Because their husband's downstairs playing with fire. This is also probably why I haven't finished the sculpture yet, because it's fun to sit here and play with this. At some point I'm going to come back and do finishing details pretty much just on the face of the bird, and maybe this foreground claw. And I'll leave the rest of it all gooey like this. But, you know, the cheap version of this is that it's like a Photoshop filter. You're just, you know, just using it to filter the surface, in which case that's not a good thing. And it's hard not to get into that when you're doing this. Like, this is fun. Which is kind of where I'm getting right now. I've been diddling with this for too long. Because when I get it all hot like this, then I gotta let it sit and cool, because if I touch it, it is gonna be a marshmallowy mess. I also can't look at what you guys are typing while I'm doing this, because I don't want to set the house on fire. So I end up diatribing. Like a villain in a Bond movie. No smoke alarms. Yeah, that would be interesting. Steel, to answer your question. Where is that? Chief, yes. 516 steel endoskeleton. This entire armature is made of steel. Red wine. Do I make my own molds? I haven't made a mold in many years, so this is going to be an adventure, to be honest. And if I were wise, I would hire somebody. But wisdom ain't really my thing. I don't really do wise. Prometheus. Well, do you mean the Greek mythology, or do you mean the Ridley Scott mythology? I am. You were. It was, what's it light? Was saying that it'd go about open air. In about 6 months, I'm probably going to be doing this stream from an art gallery 4 nights a week. By art gallery, I mean nightclub / art gallery that I and a couple of business associates are opening. I'll probably Monday through Thursday be there doing this live. So if you're in the Kansas City area, you can come be on the stream, sit in the bar, have a drink, listen to the music, and the shenanigans. The shenaniguy. The shenaniguy in the dark. That'd be me. Thank you, Samara. I do paint. I don't paint sculptures, if that's what you're asking, but I do paint. You go to my profile, see drawings and whatnot in the two-dimensional realm there. There's a Medusa there that people generally like. If you want to check that out. Nice. Well, if I've inspired you, that makes me feel good. That's what it's all about for me, is inspiring myself, for that matter. Sometimes we have to be our own superhero, you know, inspire ourselves to get up and do it. If you inspire others, that's pretty cool. I don't have an answer on cost. That is something people keep asking me. I got to figure out what the cost is going to be of production, because I'll be producing a few of these. You know, I'm gonna try to do something affordable for people who want it, with probably a resin from Florida. Hello, Diane Jenkins from Florida. I think I need to fill in what's called the popliteal fossa. It's the fatty tissue between the hamstrings. And it's literally just a pocket of fat behind our knee that serves as a shock absorber for the contraction, or the compression, I mean, of the knee. Am I a concept artist? I've worked in film production for most of my career, film and television. I've worked mostly as more of a generalist visual effects artist professionally, so pretty much everything, including concept as needed. For my clients. Then I would go on to finish it. Do the VFX as well, not just the concept. If you really want to see, you can go to my IMDb page. It's on the link tree. You can see, I don't have everything updated there, but you can see a bunch of the movies I worked on, going back to first Harry Potter even, I think is on there. Back in 2000. Actually, that was just 2000, I think, when I worked on that. Oh, thank you, Boston Tracy. You like the music, Trick Light? I was on your site today, your profile there, Trick Light. Thank you, Boston Tracy. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out, are you a digital artist? Do you do environmental digital creation? Is that your thing? An ex-musician in survival mode. Uh-huh. I get it. I get survival as a necessity, that's for sure. Turn your creativity back on. Yeah, I think that, first of all, I'm extremely sympathetic to your, at least how you're presenting yourself. You're in survival mode. I get that. I will submit anyway that survival mode might end up becoming the most creative part of your life. Can be. It has for me at times. Painful. I'm not trying to say creative and is painless. Good God, no. I think for me, most recently relative to that story was I spent 2 years in Tokyo, and that was extremely painful. Very isolated place for Gaijin, for Westerners. So I embraced doing figurative work traditionally, like I haven't in quite a while, which ultimately led to where we are now. Big Scorpio energy, nice. Yeah, exploring the, that's nice. I specifically am a Virgo. Virgo, Leo cusp. But that doesn't change what your statement is. Thank you, Denise. Tuning in to watch me rub this girl's leg. Gotta get the clay warm enough, so I gotta put friction on it, get it warm so I can move it around. All the signs converge. Yes. Indeed. Love the back muscles, thank you. I will take that. I did put effort there. Midhaven. Actually, don't know what Midhaven means. You may have outclassed me with your esoteric rhetoric. Kind of lost me there. I don't know what that means. If you want to explain to me. Is that an astrological term? My wife is very into the astrological stuff right now. Phoenix, well, your name, you're very welcome here, is the point in the chart that determines a person's public image and career. Okay, interesting. Public image and career. Like this obnoxious lump sitting in her abdomen right here that I don't like. Let's carve that out of there. Seen me in a movie or TV. You've seen my work probably. I don't know that I've been in front of the camera. I'm usually behind the camera. Did some work on a lot of films that you would have seen probably. If you want to go to my IMDb page, you can see those. At this point, it's kind of another life. I am working on a movie right now, but it's not really my jam anymore. Run by politicians giving tax credits, so not very artistically interesting, if you know what I mean. IMDb, yes, Internet Movie Database. It's in the, what do you call it, that link tree I got posted there. If you want to see that. Thank you, Missy. This would be the head of the tibia, where the semitendinosus, semibimordosus attach. Phoenix is also your stage name. Well, I like it. What kind of performer are you? And before you answer, no judgments. If you are a jazz musician, that's awesome. If you're an exotic dancer, I'm totally cool with that. I will give you praise and kudos for your prowess. What kind of stage name do you have? How long have I been doing this? That's a good question. I don't really have a good answer. You know, I went to art school in New York back in the 90s, and I've been working professionally since then, but mostly digital. So I haven't actually had my hand in clay in quite a while. I make music and exotic dancer. Oh, good for you. You know a guy named Rick Rubin. He's a producer, produced a lot of music, you know, Beastie Boys, and everybody really. He's got some good video on demand. This music is giving me anxiety. Sorry, I gotta move to the next one. But he talks about how supporting yourself is a noble cause. You know, we shouldn't be dismissive of the necessities of our life and taking care of ourselves and being like, oh, I'm just this or I'm just that. No, you doing what you gotta do. I mean, maybe you're not doing what you do. Maybe you love being an exotic dancer, that's great. But you doing what you gotta do to survive is also great. So, and there's plenty of art form within doing that, so, you know. You don't need my opinion. You don't need me to tell you what you do is okay. I'm just telling you what I think, because you're listening. If you don't want to listen, you don't have to. But yeah, back to Rick Rubin. He's a fantastic producer that supports creative process and people that he worked with. And he's just very much a realist that being an artist means you have to deal with the realities of life, which means paying for your Fruit Loops, your breakfast cereal, your Cheerios. Mundane and Magic, I love your attitude, Trick Light. I'm with you 100%. Thank you. Jin's plug. My title changes depending on energy too. Yeah, sure it does. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see your performance either way, in either domain, and experience it on its artistic merits in either domain. Good evening, Jojo. How are you? See, I am just fucking up some places. Other places I'm doing well. Some places I'm fucking up. I need to come back and work on. Oh. What is the next phase to shapeshift into after the Phoenix? My goodness, I love this conversation. Do tell. More wine on that comment. Yes. Cynthia Demore. Hello. Thank you, Craig. Craig, do I know you, Craig? Are you my Tokyo Craig? Or are you my new Craig? I can't imagine my Tokyo Craig being on TikTok. It's possible. It's kind of curmudgeon. Are you my curmudgeon? Tokyo Craig? New guy. All right, not the new Craig. Oh, new Craig. I like new Craig. Yeah, new Craig. Who are you, new Craig? Yeah. I used to have a lot of my friends from, yes, Camera Wow. Thank you, friend of mine. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of my associates in Tokyo used to show up to the stream. I think I've run out of love from my Tokyoites. However, what I'm loving about this streaming environment is people from all over the world showing up that I don't know. New people. New friends. Almost at 20,000. 20,001. Oh, likes. Goodness. I'm at 20,000 likes tonight. I feel loved. I wonder if I'll get more love when I put the blowtorch on her boobie. If there's one area in the sculpture that needs to be perfectly formed, it's that. Because it's one that we're all very sensitive to. Male, female, straight, gay, everybody's very sensitive to that part of the anatomy. Does it feel right? And I had a big old lump over there previously. Which actually brings me to one of the ideas. People were asking about my next sculpt. One of the ideas I was playing with was a boobie idea. It was about a mythology about a female archer that would cut off one of their breasts so that it wouldn't get in the way of the string to improve their effectiveness as archers. And I was visualizing a strong, defiant woman, powerful, like resolute, but not hiding, with an amputated breast, holding like archery tackle, maybe like a Diana kind of pose in a Greek sense, right? Something about that, I don't know, kind of resonates with me. Again, this is all clay. These aren't real people. This is clay. So, as a male looking at that, it's resonating with you as the observer, but also the feminine within you, which is not female. It's the feminine within you, which is a totally different thing. Well, totally different, but effectively different. So, any thoughts on that? How do you guys feel about what I was just talking about? Yeah, Amazons. Yeah, well, I think there's definitely some mythology with Amazons doing that. Story time. Artemis, yeah, definitely an Artemis-like figure. I mean, that'd be more interesting to put it in a modern day context. I don't know. Maybe put a compound bow in her hand, mechanical bow. I don't know. That kind of. I don't like that. I don't like the way that feels, but it's, you know, storyline that would be interesting. If it was a compound bow, modern mechanical bow. Obviously, it's a lot cooler if it was a traditional recurve. And strong women have always been a big part of my life. My mother, family members, mother, aunt, sister, cousins, my girlfriends, my wife. They're all like sometimes to a flaw. Oftentimes to a flaw. You can't, there's no such thing as in stasis. Everything is what it is and can produce positive and negative effects of these circumstances. My mother to this day is still a huge pain in the ass. But those, you know, those elements of her personality that allowed her to survive at one stage now become a pain in the ass for her son who's just trying to take her to the goddamn doctor. But, you know, the strong feminine was a factor in my life, one way or another. How did you disappear from Twitch? Am I not on Twitch right now? I should be on Twitch. Am I not on Twitch? Did I get de-twitched? Let me check my Twitch stream. I don't know. Oh yeah. No, it says I'm up. I think I'm up. I think I'm on Twitch. Oh, Aurora. Hello, Aurora. You're right. I'm really. It's actually my limitation of not being able to keep my eyes in two places. Hello, Aurora Lopez. I was just saying none of my Tokyo friends show up anymore, and there you are, being all Aurora-like. Aurora in Tokyo. Are you in Tokyo, I presume, right now, or are you back in France, or are you going to see your fiance? You guys aren't married, right? Fiance? I don't check the messages. I definitely don't check messages on Twitch. You're right. I check on Instagram. I don't get any notification about messages on Twitch. You know, this is all just too mind-boggling. Too much. I guess the answer is try harder. Still in Tokyo, good. It is challenging, right? We do. I like the we. I like that you have a plural. You've pluraled. Well, are you married, Aurora? Or are you, what's your status? What's going on? Give me an update. What's going on, Aurora? Give me some gossip. Not yet. Red boy. Thank you. So you're in Tokyo and not married. Did your fiance's from Spain or Italy? Shit, I'm sorry, I can't remember. Was he Italian or Spanish? It was Spanish, wasn't it? Italy, okay, I was wrong. Yes, you are correct, Tricklight. This is some gnarliness I have endeavored to indulge in. It's going to get worse by design, because in about 6 months I'm going to open a nightclub gallery here, and I'm going to be streaming in front of a live audience doing this. So that's going to get gnarly. I'm going to need a moderator. There's no way I can do this by myself. It'll be fun, right? Totally fun. Especially if you're in the Kansas City area and you want to come to the club. That offer goes to you as well, Aurora. Just jump on a plane and come on over to Kansas City. I'll have a place for you to stay. Ischial tuberosity is the bony protrusion right here that I'm massaging. I'm too poor. I know. I get it. What, are you going to give me NDA crap, or are you going to tell me what film you're working on right now, Aurora? Support me from here. Well, that's good. Maybe we'll get a group discount on the entire Tokyo tribe to come over. What do you think? Can't say yet. What is your aspiration? Are you going to be an anime director, Aurora? Is that where you're headed? That'd be cool. You should do that. See, I want this area to be perfectly smooth. However, in order to achieve that, it means you guys get to sit here and watch me massage this part of this figure's body, which might look a little weird and kinky, but get over it. It's what's happening. Jazzy, anime art designer. Okay. Well, and you do realize anime art designer is a preamble to you becoming a director. Just tell you. That's where that goes. That's where that job leads. So there's something in the clay right there I'm going to dig out. Damn it. No sculpting by feel, rather than sight, because I cannot see it. Exposure therapy. I like that you described it that way. I'd say it's kind of my exposure therapy as well. We're all just in here together, exposing each other to our therapy. How much? Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna try to make it as economically viable as I can because I want to get it out there in the world. So I got to figure out what the cost is going to be for reproduction. I'll probably reproduce in resin so that it will be cheaper for people. And then maybe even when I get around to figuring that out, you will be the first to know. How about that for an answer? I guess that means follow, or whatever, DM me, or both. And I'll figure out the answer to your question and get a response to you. I love the idea of it being on your fireplace, especially if it, rich in the context like we've been talking about, like, if you're digging this vibe and this, seeing this piece brings you to your happy place or creative place or inspired place, then hells yeah. That's what this is all about, at least for me. Pinged you. Oh, good. Glass of red wine to get back into my creative, happy place. Tricky Light, you're making me sad. What do we got to do? Let's figure something out for you. There's got to be a solution that is within your effective way to execute on a daily basis. How do we get you into your creative higher self? You know what I mean? Life discontinued due to inactivity. Good God. All right, be back in a second. Potty break time. let's get back to it. All right, Glitter Gloves, if you're there, and I still love your name, we're back. Yes, TikTok kicked me off for inactivity. Apparently I missed some notification. It's a very needy platform, this TikTok. But we're back. Oh, Glitter Gloves and Trick Light are the same person. Well then, hello. Well, I like both your names. But yes, I'm back on, if you prefer that. On the Twitch, you can see more cameras at once. It's a horizontal format, so you might prefer it, but we are back up on both now. Now that TikTok has been given its pound of flesh, or intention, as it were. Very attention needy, so platform needs attention. Okay, let's figure out. This is gonna be a pain in the butt to do. Okay, what are we gonna do? Well, thank you, Sean. 32. Appreciate that. Let's see if we can get this. Get these digits right here, huh? Let's see what we can do. Neither do an audit. So many personas, so many self-projections. How many man hours put into it? I'm in the 70s, maybe getting closer to 80 hours into this young lady. If I had to guess, you can see the whole thing if you're so inclined. It goes back to January 7th on YouTube. But to this point, I really just pretty much use YouTube as an archive. I've got everything archived on YouTube. I am streaming on it. That's how I archive it, but I don't even pay attention to that. So unfortunately, people do show up. I'm not even responsive. Bad host. But it's all there. So if you were so inclined and wanted to know exactly the progress of this piece, you could find it on YouTube. Going back to January 7th. And the beginning was white as shell. It was basically a strongman competition where I was, where's the camera right now? I was bending the steel right here by hand to create the infrastructure, the endoskeleton of this sculpt. And it got a little gnarly. Got a little gnarly the first couple nights. Oh, you were there in the beginning. Okay then. So yeah, I missed like, like a week due to just get to catching the damn flu, and a few hours here and there. So I'm guessing I'm probably getting about 80-ish hours in about this point, probably. Hello, Trick Light. Welcome back. Welcome back to the light, Trick Light. Thank you. Not as nice as I look. That's quite a handle. I like it. Well, you seem nice so far. I do not bake the whole thing. When I am done, this is made out of plastiline clay, which means it's oil base, and heat makes it melt. I don't know if you've been here, but one of my sculpting tools is, in fact, a torch. I, at this point, just kind of do it for fun. It's just a lot of fun to melt the clay with the torch because it is oil, so it melts. When I'm done, I will have to cast and mold this in other materials. So I will make a, what do you call it? I'll make a resin. I'll make some, probably make some alloys like bronze, that sort of deal. A lot of people here on the stream have requested it, so I'll probably do sorry, distracted here, a resin, which should be a little cheaper, and I might actually do a 3D print of it, you know, do a 3D scan and 3D print it so that I can make it smaller for a resin print that could be like desktop. But at the end of the day, yeah, this is not the final product. The clay is an intermediary step. While I've been fighting with this hand, I am really liking the forearm, and the general gesture on the hand is actually starting to work for me finally. Not the details per se, but the gesture's there. So anyway, time to put away the hot toy. I enjoy that a little too much, and I kind of indulge in it. Well, Dustin, you might want to redefine what realism is. Do you think that bird is realism? Do you think her hair is realism? Anything that you find in abstract art, you can find in figurative art. I think the real challenge to abstract art is defining how it's not simply good design. That's when you start to get into a more interesting debate, in my opinion. Well, I would agree. It depends on what lens. It's definitely always about the lens. Always about the lens. What lens? Lens. What lens? Thank you, Pamela. How much is it self-sculpture? Are you trying to say, Annika, are you trying to say you want to commission me to do a sculpture of you? Is that what I'm trying to interpret your words there? I think it'd be fun, especially with, you know, interpretive-wise, to know. There was a streamer here that I've talked to as well. Statize is her name. I don't know. Kind of thought about a couple different pieces based on her, really. I don't know why. It's kind of captured my attention. But I haven't done it yet. Thank you, Pamela. I really like the song, but it is not enhancing my chill. This is one best left for other vibes. What else we got? What have I got on my playlist here? Let's get after something. What is this? Well, it's definitely chiller. I can chill here for a second and move on. Take it down a notch. Exactly, Roni. It knew you were coming. It was literally your preamble. It's like Hulk Hogan had his theme music. I think that song was your theme music, Roni. It's the happy screaming song. I do love that song. I actually really like it. That's why it's on my playlist. But it's just like not helping me at the moment. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to cultivate this vibe as we all are enjoying. And then you've got, like, I don't know, like this angry cat doing a violent thing to another angry cat in the background. And Roni is here to be the fact checker. Yes, January 7th. If I were ever in a Trump-like situation, I will definitely need the Roni to be my fact checker. I don't know. The way the stream's going, I might just need him to be the effect trigger on this stream. We'll see. It'd be kind of cool to get a Bob Ross-like following for mythology sculpting, figurative art. What do you guys think? Think there's a market for that? Forgive me. Forgive me, my brilliance. Cynthia D'Amore. I like that name. Cynthia D'Amore. It sounds like the female crime boss. Cynthia. Yes, Cynthia. Funky little tune here. Tune to get funky too, if you're lucky. If you're lucky to have somebody to get funky with. Which we're all here together, so maybe we're getting funky together right now to this funky tune. Gotta get my brush out. My wife asked me today, she's like, when are you gonna finish this thing? I think she's getting tired of looking at this lady's boobs. Even though basically most of this figure is at least very similar to her. I think she's feeling threatened by it. Gnostic David, good name. What's up, Beach Walks? Is it? I mean, that's always a balance. So you're on the TikTok side. Let me, well, first of all, let's see. Is my voice peaking or is the music too loud? You actually need this feedback, Mr. Moderator guy? It's the ping that you talk to, you're right. Let's see, I'm not, really? That's weird. How about that? How is the music levels now? Am I peaking out for anybody? Is it peaking out means like it distorts because it gets too loud? Or is it all good? Much clearer for you. Louder than usual, right? Well, we're doing our best. Maybe some of you are further away. This digital medium loses its virility over greater distance. I think does that make sense? I'm not sure it does. I'm not sure it makes any sense. But who gives a shit about making sense? I made sense once. It was a Tuesday. Didn't like it. Had no sense. Good to go here. JoJo approves of audio levels. Got the JoJo approval. Very good. Actually, Tricklight, if you're still there, you were on the Twitch side. How was the audio there? Glitter glows. All good here. Gotta ask the brain monkeys to turn it down inside the head so that this can work. Alright, and obviously made me laugh. Be rhetorical to say that made me laugh because you just heard me laugh. See, I'm not digging this accidental cellulite action going on here. Not that I'm against cellulite, it's part of the body. But like I said, unintentional. That's interesting that you like the vibe here better. A lot of Twitch people say they like the Twitch vibe better. All right, let's blowtorch this cellulite, huh? I'm always needing an excuse to get out the blowtorch. That's interesting. Ooh, I just burned that clay. Thought I was far enough away I was doing a nice easy heat, but I burned it. Gonna chill for a second, come back. Got a little too excited there. Might have been the vicinity. I will say when I get the torch out, I cannot pay attention to what's going on the stream. So I am neglectful, even though I see activity in the corner of my eye. Twitch people are used to it, being ignored. Focus on the flame. It was the area. Nice, I like your commentary, Jojo. A little excited, a little overheated, burnt my clay. Might have been subject matter. I blame you, Jojo. You got me excited. Whatever, sculptor has needs. Someday I'm gonna actually have to finish it. I'm gonna finish this foot last because I keep hitting it with my hand. I'm gonna have to scrape off the burnt butt cheeks I just gave her. Good time for some wine. I will say, Chewy Fur, that artist to the model, now hold that pose. Exactly. What was I about to say to Chewy? Oh, the realness. Yeah, I better let that cool. It's going to be still melty. You know, relative to the realness phenomenon, or the experience of realness, I like, when I get to this stage, I like the feeling. I actually sculpt my eyes closed some, right? Because it's like your hands sometimes are more honest than your eyes. And it's like, am I touching a real body, right? And your hands aren't going to lie to you. Your hands are going to say, this is clay. Or, you know, if you can fool your hands, if your hands are like, I'm touching a body. Now, in this case, it's not scale, literally half scale, but it doesn't really matter. Like, it still fools the hands. When you get it right, the hands are still fooled. It's like, it still feels like I'm literally touching, especially when the clay's warm. When the clay is warm, it's like, I'm touching flesh. And that's when you feel like you've gotten in there. You've gotten to the point. for art purposes only, exactly. Well, she's noticed that when I go to bed at night, I have a tendency just to like put my hand on her sacrum, you know, and just kind of feel that vicinity. And I'm like, I realized that it's not really intimate because I'm really just like thinking about the sculpture. I mean, it could be intimate still, but like I'm thinking about that. Might be why she's starting to feel threatened by it. She's like, are you ready to start to do a sculpture? Because I'm kind of getting tired of this one. Baby Duck Street? You might be mistaken. Hello, Yvette. I like your double eyes there, your spooky eyes. Artist problems, exactly. This is plastilina, oil-based clay. It's pretty common, you know, for sculptors, people that are planning on going through the process of casting. So whether it's fine artists or it's like makeup effects artists, like over at Stan Winston Studios, which I've been to several times, I have friends that have worked there. They all work in Roma Plastilina. Basically this. Why are you feeling at the statue? Well, because I want to. I am feeling her up, not because, well, I definitely enjoyed it, so I can't finish that sentence. More because I could feel more details with my nerve endings than I can my eyes. I can feel what's going on with the surface of my eye, with my fingers, my nerves, more than my eyes. Yeah. Baby Duck Street, all right. So you switched over to the other side. You don't think this is pre-recorded? Thank you, I appreciate your praise. Mother Ducker, you do what you gotta do. In fact, you don't need to leave the room. But let's leave it at that. I'm very libertarian at heart. And I hate to think of a mother duck and not taking care of her needs. Boogie's mom. Is that like is that a reference to Nightmare Before Christmas? Boogie's boys. Where'd my tool go? Man needs his tool. Where did my tool go? Here it is. My favorite tool. I'm a watch. Well, I appreciate it, Baby Duck Street. I'm doing what I can. When I can. Everyone's telling on themselves. Love it. Well, I'm doing a lot of fingering, as it were. Interesting phenomenon of anonymity and safety in a crowd, this platform. There's nothing to say but yes. And more wine, please. I appreciate a QR code. Yeah, I think it's got to be light. You got to keep it light. Serious but light. Intense but light. I learned that from, I'll tell a story. Some people have heard it. Ronnie's on. He's heard it. He's heard several. Excuse me. Several of my stories. But one of them is art school days. I was going to a sculpture class. There was a lot of tension around this sculpture class because it was taught by Toshio Date, a famous Japanese sculptor. Everyone had a lot of anxiety about going to Toshio's class. And when you met him in person, it was like he was half carpenter, half samurai. Super intense, tiny little man. I'm a very large person. He was not large, very small. But his intensity was massive. Like I said, carpenter, samurai persona. And we all go in and find our positions, which are totally random because the model's not there. We have no idea what we're going to do. So we just find a place to be in the room. Model comes in. I know this model very well. I've been drawing her for 4 years at this point. Never actually had a conversation with her. I don't know her, but it's like I'm extremely intimate with her and that I've been drawing her naked for 4 years. I feel like I know her. And she goes up to the model stand, picks a pose, lies down. This is going to be like a 4-week or more. It's a long pose. I don't remember how long it was. Long time. Many weeks pose. She lays down in a reclined position. She's a fantastic model, as usual. But it just so happens, due to my positioning, that hello, designed by Joe. Thanks for reading. It just so happened that my positioning in this class was that I was positioned to see only one angle of her, and it was straight up between the cheeks. That's what my idea was. I had no control over that. And I'm just sitting there thinking, all right, what am I gonna do? I'm like, okay, we're a figure sculpting class, and I'm gonna abstract this. I'm gonna create beautiful shapes out of this thing. What I'm looking at. Toshio, this carpenter samurai that everyone was terrified of teacher, walks up to me, stands next to me. Again, I'm a huge person, I'm a big person anyway, and he's a very small person. And he just stands next to me and he goes, you get rabbit hole. And walks off. And I am fighting as hard as I can not to lose my crap laughing because this really intense, stoic Japanese famous sculptor just said that to me. And I think that's what I realized. It's like, no matter how intense you are, no matter how serious you take this, if you lose your sense of humor, you've lost everything. You've lost the joy. You've lost the process. Like, you've got to maintain your sense of humor. So, for me in here, it's like, yes, obviously I take this very, very serious. And yes, I'm not a child. This is all very mature. At the same time, I'm not afraid of a little joke nowadays because, what I learned from Toshi. You gotta keep it. You gotta keep it light. That was my lesson from Toshio Date, the samurai carpenter sculptor. Hello, Celtic Last Creations. Thanks for joining. What should we move on to? I don't know that I've got all of that worked out that I want to down there, but we're going to move on now. Actually, maybe I can make fingers on that other hand. Might be a little avoidant. How about the hand, exactly? Light shadow, like that. You're like a cousin of Storm Shadow. Well, just what happens, my wine is next to the hand, so we're headed over here. I personally have weird hands, so I have to be mindful of that when I make hands. I have a tendency to make my hands, obviously, anyone would. I have weird hands. My hands aren't shaped like other people's hands. Case in point, my hand does that. Most people's thumb does not do that. All right. I'm ready for a music change. That's what I'm ready for. Anomaly. Yes, exactly. The anomaly. We've heard this one, right? How about this guy? This is definitely some heavy, dark, interpretive jazz. I think I'm going to work on. Okay. It's the pieces to pieces. Exactly, Steph. Didn't see that coming. I did not see that coming. Oh, Missy, are you having one? Love it. Missy Gems and Crystals. You sound like you are an artisan of some kind. I love it. What kind of wine? You tell me yours, I'll tell you mine. Is that weird? I don't think it was weird. Maybe it was weird. Where's the squeezle? I need the squeezle. Squeezle. Squeezle, squeezle, squeezle. Stephanie. I did it, Beau. What did you do? What did you do, Roni? What did you do? I feel like I need to feel like a disapproving father role for you right now. What did you do? I'm gonna rub your nose and poop here in a second. What did you do, Roni? Local Oliver wine in India. Nice. All the lives in calculated total time. Holy crap! What is wrong with you, dude? All right, how long have I been working on this thing? You're a crazy person. What's the hours? 3 days, 7 hours, and 10 minutes. So I was pretty close. But I said I was coming up on 80. Dude, I was really close, right? I was really close guess. I'm like right on, really. Nice. Thank you, Roni. That's weird that you did that. You might have an OCD behavior, but thank you. I appreciate it. $79.17. Dude, I said I was coming up on 80, didn't I? That was a total guess on my part. You got the skills. No crap, man. You got the skills. $1 million. I think there's no correlation to what Roni's talking about, how much time I put into it, and what it's worth. You know, like if I wanted to be a cultivator of monetary value, I'd be like, oh no, it's worth so much more than the time I put into it. That's not my objective. My objective is actually, my opinion is art isn't clay or paint or anything like that. It is Sisters of the Hook. I'll get back to it in a second. Art is what happens in your mind as the observer. So if art isn't being consumed by an observer, it doesn't exist, right? Otherwise, it's just physical matter. So I want to get it out there. So I'm going to base the cost on what's it take to, much more like I'm making a toy or something, or manufacturing a product. So I'm going to figure out what the cost is to distribute this as a resin, and then like the fine art, if you will, or if you want something to have an assigned high value, that'll be the alloys. You know, make a bronze, that sort of thing, titanium, something like that. 3D scan, exactly. So I can make a smaller version because I want you to be able to have it on your desk if you want all that. 3 days straight, yes. 3 days straight, yeah. 72 hours, 80 hours. Sisters of the Hook was the story behind it. What do you mean, what's the narrative story? I mean, I would invite you to look at it and I'll talk you through it. But we have the female figure. She's non-terrestrial, meaning she's floating in the air. She's, ephemeral. And so we're in a fantasy world. That's what I wanted to accomplish by doing that. She's obviously very elegant. She's comfortable yet sexy. She's receiving. She's in a receptive pose. She's receiving the bird to land on her hand. The bird is coming to her. It is also coming to her willingly. It's a very willing dynamic between the two of them. The phoenix itself represents reincarnation or rebirth. But what I'm trying to amend that concept is that, first of all, there's a connection between her and the bird, and that I'm trying to represent sculpturally with the way the hair is modeled and the way the bird is modeled to be a similar aesthetic. So you start to get this feeling like the bird and her are one, same with the flames coming down her arm. This is her phoenix. She is the phoenix. But in this case, she's not a passive figure. And if you notice in her back hand, she's holding, rotate around here so you can see, she's holding a knife in her back hand. And the narrative there is that she's going to sacrifice this bird. This bird is going to be sacrificed for her, or by her. She's going to sacrifice her own bird. She's going to sacrifice her phoenix, and so bringing about her own reincarnation, manifestation, self-actualization. This is a self-actualization piece for me. What I think of when I look at this is this woman self-actualizing. This is who I am, and I'm going to make it be true. I'm going to make me be the next version of me
through a mindful choice by sacrificing my phoenix that has come to me. I've called it, it has come to me, it's landed on me, and I'm going to sacrifice it to become me. That's what this piece means to me, or that's the narrative I have associated with it. Roni had an interesting variation on that, totally valid, I'm into it. A couple people have said a couple differences. My wife looked at it and said, oh, is she going to cut the bird free and allow it freedom? And I'm like, I can't even possibly process what you're saying, but I get that it works for you. For her, it was this knife was going to be used to cut the bird to freedom. I'm like, okay, interesting. That's not where I live. That's not my house. You don't live in my house with this thought. That's where she went. Oh, Radix back. You just choose to be impressed when you want to be impressed. Been feeling this for months. I love it, Superstar. Yeah, I think we're all here. I think there's something to the Jungian collective unconscious, right? Like I'm drawn very much to the themes right now of self-actualization and reinvention, and I think that in the words of oh Jesus, can't think of his name right now. Author, ran for president in the 80s. Whatever. Whenever I want to know what's going on in the United States, I just look at my own heart. Anyway, if you want to know what's going on in other people's minds, just look in your own heart. So for me, I think looking at myself and my role in the world, I think gives me insight into others, because I think we're all in a similar. We're all living in the same world, right? So we're going to have some similar domain experiences. Hell, Roni, you probably freaking know. Who's the author I'm trying to think of? Whenever I want to know what's going on in the United States, I look at my own heart. Ran for president, big gay author of the 80s. God damn, I can't think of his name. Bringing the inspiration, yeah, exactly. I would say Japanese characters. I am not slick enough to read that. Female person, I think. Is that kind of shit? I don't know. Anyway, is this a piece you can place outside? When I cast this in an alloy, it absolutely can be put outside, just like Rondane's bronze are outside. This could be outside when I get it done. How do I price this piece? Yeah, that's the question everyone's asking. I'm gonna have to figure that out because I have no idea about the production pipeline. I think it has to do with like, maybe, would you guys be open to pre-orders? If I got pre-orders from you guys, that would make all the difference. If I got pre-orders, I could determine how many I was gonna make, and that would lower the price. Would you guys be interested in me setting up a way to make pre-orders of like maybe a half size of this, a full size of this, both in resin, and like a bronze, like 3 different versions of this? Is that cool? Would you guys be cool with that? Would that be interesting to you? And then based on pre-orders, I can figure out how I was going to manufacture it. You would pre-order. Roni would pre-order. All right. I will figure that out. That's a good idea. Because then I don't have to sit here and figure it out. Like, what's mine? Right? Because when you make, because there's, like, if I make one, right, that's really expensive. If I make, 50 or 100 or whatever, that's a whole different story. I'll figure that out. This part of the body cannot be like this. I have to work this out. Or Egyptian blue. You know what? If you buy resin, you can paint her Egyptian blue if you want to. James Baldwin who said that. No, I am not talking about James Baldwin. No. I am talking about the author. He's got this really lyrical name. He was in the movie Gattaca. He was a gay author in the 80s. I mean, maybe. I'm sure Baldwin stole it from him. Actually, I think he called it My Black Heart. If I want to know what's going on in America, I look at my own Black Heart. Oh my God. Carlos Balanzo. No, that's not it either. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to look this up. He was literally in the movie Gattaca. I think he wrote it too. God damn it. Having a senior moment. Too much booze. What's the name, Dingleby? Hello, Dingler. Thank you for dingling me. And he did run for president. Hello, Richie West. See, now I'm going to get my phone and look it up. Just because I want to know. Let's see. It says James Baldwin. That is not it. God damn it. He stole it from someone. Okay. What was he in? Author in Gattaca. He stole it from this guy. No. God damn it. This is going to upset the hell out of me. Oh, well, James stole it from this guy. Can't figure it out yourself this time. My clerical genius. Stumped. He's got this really funny name that's like a lyrical name. Big gay author in the 80s. He did run for president. I think he was freaking senator somewhere too. No, I am. No, 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 no. I have to look at the credits on Gattaca to figure this out now. There's a whole documentary I'm on somewhere. Which is why I know this. Well, at this point, nobody cares about me, but now I'm really annoyed. Well, Jasmine, glad to be perseverant in your stream. It does take a lot of time. Well, I'm also not in a hurry. Well, Ronnie there just did the math. I'm just shy of 80 hours of work into this. So 2 work weeks. But also not in a hurry. Like, I'm letting it take as long as it needs to take. I'm enjoying the process of exploration. Like I've said many times, like, how do I know when I'm done when I stop exploring? So I am still very much exploring what I'm doing in the narrative. This stream puts you past 80. Yeah, I'll be past 80 on the stream. I care. See, now this leg is, yeah, that's not okay. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work for me. Now you guys get to see me watch me molest the bottom of her leg, because it is a little bit gnarly down there. So I gotta first put the aquaphor on it and then warm it up with my hands so that the clay becomes malleable, and then move it around. Do you already have a title? I'm calling this Hand of Fate. That's the working title. I think it'll probably stick. Hand of Fate. This will, yeah, obviously get shipped in a precious manner, but I mean, totally. Even if this was resin or a metal, you just imagine like a form-fitted foam would be fine. This would ship fine. It was totally different. Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you for that feedback, because that's awesome. Like, because a lot of people feel like I'm moving slow, or even I feel like I'm moving slow, so it's awesome that you feel like you've seen significant change. When I'm done with all of it, I'm going to come back and do one last pass on the face to really get intimate on some of those facial features. Eyes, nose, mouth, ears, all that. But I'm not going to bother right now. Nice, thank you, Trish. I'll probably do one more pass pretty much just on the bird face. I've been saying I was going to do the claw. I'm not sure how much I'm going to do on the claw. I might leave it rough like that. I don't know. Definitely on the face of the bird. This bomb down here, you guys can't see. It's just a mess. I gotta clean this up. How much wine for that tonight? I usually put down about a bottle a night. So not too much, considering I weigh 240. Well, I've lost weight. I'm probably 240 pounds. And I drink it over the course of 3 hours, so a bottle of wine's not too much for me. Okay, I'm so upset. I can't take it. I gotta go to IMDb. I gotta figure out who this guy is. Nobody cares anymore. Than maybe me and Ronnie. I wanna know. IMDb. I wanna know. Okay. Gattaca. Gattaca. Yes, okay. Gattaca. Yes, 1997. Yes. Okay, cast and crew, yes. Where is it? Gorby Dow! God damn it! This entire time I've been trying to think of Gorby Dow. He's the guy that said, whenever I want to know what's going on in America, I look at my own heart. That's Gorby Dow. I feel like I just pulled a thorn out of my brain, and I know most of you probably don't care, but it was important to me. I perform the arts of kindness. That is a completely admissible form. I ask the question often, have you created art today? But I also think it's important to define what art is. And so, to that end, for me, art is not knowing the fact that I'm currently molesting her vastus lateralis. That's not what art is. Art is not clay, art is not paint or canvas. Art is the moment of conception in the observer's eye, the other person's eye, their mind, not eye, the other person's mind, their frontal lobe. When their frontal lobe fires electricity, that's when art happens. For me, right? That's when this is going on. When people consume my art, their brain fires and says, yes, that's the moment of art. Art is not a thing, it's a verb. And so you're just saying, you brought up the kindness as an art. So yes, I'm 100%, this whole diatribe going down to 100% in support of your notion that you could be a kindness artist, because you are firing the neurons of conception of art in the person that you're participating the art with, the person receiving your kindness. So yes, I believe that to be true. Have you made art today? I'll keep going, I'm not afraid. That I think that have you made art today potentially could be, if anything, a political campaign. For me, for all of us, right? Like, what does it mean? What does it mean, have you made art today? And the reason I say that is that when you make art, you change, right? You have respect for the art that you have made. You are an artist when you make art, and you have respect for the making of things. And when you have respect for the art that you have made, you have respect for the art others have made, inherently. You inherently become respectful of art by being an artist. You become a maker, not a taker. And I think that if our politicians globally, our decision makers, our businessmen, if everyone was forced to make art every day in some capacity, that would literally save the species. Like, I'm not exaggerating. That would save us as humans. If everyone had a requisite, have you made art today question. Not have you taken from someone, have you made something today. anything today. So I think having made art today is an incredibly important point in question. Let me look back at the street, because you guys are off on a whole other topic. Last week was National Wednesday, okay. Yes, Roni's my ambassador. Heat and aquaphor, that's what changes the surface characteristics. You're a carpenter, you definitely make shit every day. Thank God, Jasmine. And I don't know, Jasmine, are you a female carpenter? Because I don't want to be sexist, but that sounds like extra cool. To be a female, I don't know. You know, that sounds cool to me. I'm gonna admit that. I bought art today. Does that count? Well, sure. I almost always drink red wine. I'm just a red wine guy. I play with a lot of blends. This is a blend, generally Merlot. This, I am not proud of this, well, I mean, it's okay. This is an okay blend. Esteban Martin, Garnacha. It's okay. It's a nice blend. Yes, I am. I am a female carpenter. Yes, I am. Yeah. Well, I'm much more at this stage into celebrating humans than I am anyone's gender. That being said, I have to admit to a little bit of, human myself that, I might get a little bit, might be a little extra excited about a female carpenter, okay? It's against my own ethos to prefer one gender over the other for anything. Either way, positive or negative. So it's against my own ethos to be like, oh, I'm excited about a female carpenter. And then I will admit to you, because we're having a candid conversation, I'm a little excited about a female carpenter. Wow, Jojo, you are the bomb. I'm totally down with your, dude, I'm not about judgments. Dinner for your husband is your art. Bam, love it. Well, I've got a half-finished basement here, so Jasmine, if you're anywhere near the Kansas City area, come on over, because I can do anything and everything, and they can do anything and everything, not as well as people who are good at doing those things. So this basement is half-finished. We had a contractor who totally pulled out. I mean, he was just pathetic, and I fired his ass. So I've got this really great. It's a 7,000 square foot house. The basement is, I don't know, 2,500 alone. It's halfway finished. Are you really? You're in Ozark, Missouri? Oh my God. Well, first of all, okay, yes, I have a project here. And two, you have to come to Kansas City when we open the club. If you're that close, you must come to the club when I open it. About 6 months, we're opening a club here in Kansas City. It's a gallery, an art gallery, nightclub. And it's going to be open in the River Market area. That is amazing that you're in the area. You're at Table Rock. Okay, I'm very familiar with Table Rock. My family and I stayed at, oh shit, what's that really nice hotel there in Table Rock? Shit, what is that? What's the nice hotel there on Table Rock? Spastus Medialis ain't making it. I gotta work her quads. I gotta get this right. What is that nice hotel down there? Big Cedar. Yeah, Big Cedar Lodge. Yes, Big Cedar Lodge. We have stayed there before. Yeah, the place is nice. It's great. Johnny Morris. I don't know Johnny Morris. Is he like one of the Bass Pro guys or something? The home you're building looks amazing. I love the siding. Now you're freaking me out. Have you found my home like on Google? Have I given you enough information? You zeroed in on me? Yeah, he owns Bass Pro. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's what I figured. Although I have a very good friend who's a photographer who works for Bass Pro, and she, female, is not a big fan of that experience. She's not enjoying, apparently it's like the 1960s down there. Which is funny, because I come from LA, where honestly being a male, it means you're an endangered species. It's ridiculous. It's awful. And then she's, a good friend of mine here, and she's here working for Bass Pro and having the exact opposite experience being a female. I'm like, really? Okay, that's weird. Like, it still happens? Yeah, she's not appreciative of her Bass Pro experience as a photographer. But I do like Big Cedar Lodge. Hey, Murphy, thank you. I molested the bottom side of this leg for the last 15 minutes, and I feel like I'm starting, what I said earlier about like, the fingers can see things the eyes can't. It's starting to feel right. It's starting to feel like I'm touching a real human leg, but man, it was a mess. I feel like you're literally massaging like the traffic accident victim. His muscles are all messed up. And I've got to massage them back in place. It's like surgical massage. This is plastiline, aromaplastiline. It's oil-based clay. Devil's Pool, Big Cedar. Okay, I don't know that, but I'll check that out. Actually, I might be down there on spring break. I don't know if we're headed down there with the kids or not. My wife's going to Portugal on some kind of insane hike, leaving me with the 3 kids. I got to figure out what to do with them. I might actually come down there to Big Cedar during the kids' spring break. Thank you, Haley. Yeah, I did a little software development, a little scripting there for the for the camera angles. Teach me your ways. For me, I can't tell you your ways. I can tell you my ways. My experience is, number one, most important thing, where's the camera? Armature. I have failed in my life when I was younger because I did not put enough attention into the pre-sculpting, planning stage, which was the armature. And then I would do this big sculpt that I was so proud of, and it basically would just fall to the ground in sadness and despair. So for me, armature is where it's at. That doesn't mean that's going to be your requisite need, but that's my starting point, is thinking about the figure, thinking about where we're going, thinking about what I want to do. I'll tell you this process, and again, if you go back to January 7th on YouTube, you can see it, but if you see in some of these angles, you can see the drawing is still on the board. So I drew a 2-scale approximate drawing on the board behind, and then I literally took my finger, came out in space, made the best guess I could, and drew an orthographic drawing of the pose down onto the platform that I'm sculpting on. And then you still see some of the charcoal lines. It was crude, but it was still accurate as far as armature placement. I used that, and then I bent this armature. I mounted it into the table in 2 places, and bent it by hand, and that's because I'm physically able to bend it. If you go down this route, I suggest using, where's the camera? This torch to soften it. The first night I did not, I just literally strongmanned it, and I broke the steel with my hands, and then I was angry and sad, and sat down and drank and cussed and stopped working. And I think all that's on YouTube if you want to see that cringy crap. Then I came back the next night, and I used the torch, and I bent it, and it worked. Yeah, I would recommend the torch. And then I would also have this, anchored the living hell out of this. Think about this like I'm, like our new friend here, the carpenter. I thought very much about the way it was anchored. And mounted it in, this is a 2 1/2 inches, literally 1 inch thick board, 2 1/2 inch plywood, that it's mounted on. And so it's going nowhere. So I, for the very beginning, had my plot planned with the armature and had the, the internal structure planned so that it wouldn't go anywhere. Now, I did make a change. Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's fucking software.
Oh.
Okay, we're back. If anybody's there.
Yeah, TikTok, it does that. I don't have it set up so I can see when it needs to be attended to, and then it kicks me off for inactivity. Oh, good God, what does TikTok think activity is?
Whatever it is. I keep getting kicked off for inactivity on TikTok. It's back up now, by the way, Ronnie, if you want to go back, or you can stay here on Twitch. But anyway. But yeah, we're back up. That is a big old lump right there. Yeah, already back. I don't know who I was talking to. Who asked that question? I was going off on a whole diatribe of process. And I probably lost them, and they're finally going to come back. So let's start a new conversation. What shall we talk about? My favorite quote from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Americans, always dressing for the wrong occasion. What shall we talk about? I have a topic. Uh-oh, you're scaring me, dude. Not Gorby, though. What do you got? What you got, nihilist? That is a lumpy-ass mess right there. Let's just not do. Gotta heat this whole area. Art in Japan and Russia. Oh my God. Seriously? You're just... What, did you ask ChatGPT to come up with a question that was going to give Beau consternation? Thank you, Susie. I like you better than Roni right now. Roni wants to talk about my time in Tokyo and Moscow. Oh my God. Where do I start? It's a whole... Dude, seriously? You're going to ask me that question? Art in Russia. I mean, okay. Means a couple things. Whew. Art in Russia. Obviously you got things like Pushkin, right? Poet. Right? And you got War and Peace. Tchaikovsky. Things like that, right? And for me, art in Russia was always in contradiction to the political state. Or maybe not contradiction. It was in reflection and defiance. What was going on in politics, you could always see in the art. And it always represented, really, forever. Anything I've ever looked at Russian art-wise
was a semblance of the hope. And I met some absolutely gorgeous people there. I mean, I don't mean physically gorgeous, although they have those, but they're creepy gorgeous, like animated Barbie dolls. I mean gorgeous like at their soul. I met some soul, beautiful people in Russia. And I think it's because this state was so oppressive, always has been, honestly, it always has been so oppressive that the individuals find art as this place to be free. They're like a dove trying to be free in Russia. So I'll give you an example. I had the blessing to go see something called the Slava Snow Show when I was in Moscow. This was 2007. And Slava had basically a Saturday morning show kind of thing. I don't know what it was, but it was like this, it was a black and white show. And it was basically the only form of entertainment that existed at the time of this type. And it was basically an inspiration. It'd be like Saturday Night Live, but it was a clown. But he represented hope, perseverance, childlike joy during the Cold War. To be very specific, during the Cold War. And so when I was there, after the Cold War, there was this, what I could sense was this intense nostalgia from Muscovites for the Slava Snow Show because it represented their childhood or nostalgia, something from the past where they found hope in existence. And I think that really captured art. You know, whether it's Pushkin, Tchaikovsky, anybody, Dostoevsky, any of them, like, it's all about hope and perseverance through suffering. I've never heard of any Russian art that wasn't about perseverance through suffering. Honestly, ever. That's the underlying theme. Now, their political art, which there is some absolutely gorgeous, like the sculpture of Yuri Gagarin, the first human in space. It's this big sculpture in Moscow. It is staggering. It is just fantastic. It's this huge sculpture. That's political art, but it's still beautiful, right? That's how I see art in Russia. Now, art in Japan, I mean, it's diverse. They have a very rich contemporary art culture. Like, if you want to go to galleries in Tokyo on a Saturday afternoon, which my friends do, they still post often on their Instagram about their Saturday afternoons at the art galleries. And it's just rich. It's rich with diversity, which is interesting because I worked in the corporate world in Tokyo, so every year and a half, and it was absolutely abysmal. It was the most awful thing. It was so counter what I expected from Japanese culture in general. Now, that being said, I don't really like corporate culture in the United States either, so I don't know that I can hold that against Japan. My experience in a corporate, I worked for Toyota. But on the art side, there's the traditional art, which has all the sakura and the cherry blossoms and that whole Japanese philosophy stuff, right? And it's beautiful and gorgeous and kind of, you know, a stereotypical thing. Now, contemporary Japanese art is interesting because it's actually really mindful and I wouldn't say defiant from an adolescent state because I think it's a little more mature, at least what I got from the contemporary Japanese art. It's a little more mature than to think of it as a defiant teenager, because it's not. I would say contemporary art in Japan is very exploratory. I would say it's trying, you know, it's very much trying. It's looking for that, it's looking for the edge of experience. I didn't like it all, you know, it didn't speak to me always, but I rarely ever found myself in a place of thinking, and I'm talking about fine art, right? If you wanted to go look at, you know, all of the, you know, the robot stuff and the anime stuff, sure, there's plenty of that, right? And you can find girls tied up and all of that crap. That's fine. If you're into that, you can find that. But I'm talking about the contemporary fine arts in Japan. I would say it's in my experience some of the most progressive stuff around. I didn't like it all. It wasn't all my jam, but I really felt like they weren't trying to expand horizons of art when I went to a gallery in Tokyo. I also didn't feel like they were defined by their government. In Russia, they were very defined by their government and survival. So I see the stream going crazy and I'm completely ignoring it. My favorite work of art of all time is The Great Wave. Okay, well, I mean, it's good. I mean, I got art history in New York when I went to art school there. There's a lot of online options. If you're just literally interested in the topic though, there's a lot of, I think there's master's classes, there's all kinds of good resources online. Not necessarily accredited, but you can get a lot of good data for art history. And again, art history is not isolated to be art history. It's contextual, what's going on in politics in the world. Oh, somebody dingled me again, and I still don't know what it is. I am so bad at this crap. I don't even know where that dingle source came from. My God, I feel like I've smoothed this area out 5 times and it's still a rough mess. Laughing beside you. It was just me, little old me following you. Thank you, laughing beside you, appreciate it. I don't know what the hell I'm doing in my life and my time, but you guys are looking at it. I'm doing it for/with you.
Yes, it's what's your name there? It's we. Yes, whatever. Yes, I did this. Many people on the stream right now witnessed me make it. Okay, let's get brass tacks. What do you take for the monkey? Let's get around here and make some fingers. This is gonna be a pain in the ass to make those fingers. Whose idea was it to do that? Pour some wine and make some fingers. I knew it was wrong, did it anyway. Thank you. You like all the... Thank you, Tricklight. I didn't know you were still around. Hello. Thank you for coming back after I got... What did I get? I got evicted. My own TikTok. What kind of bitches, really? TikTok's kind of a pain in the ass. It's all your fault. I'm gonna get a t-shirt that says Blame Romy. I'm gonna wear the stream. Blame Romy. I don't like this song. I'm blaming Romy for this song. I mean, it's kind of cool, but I don't know. I don't like it. Blaming Romy. I blame Romy for that. Trick Light had to drive to the next location. This sounds extremely nefarious. Like, does your job entail a briefcase? Or some other form of transport? Am I a Capricorn? Oh my God, another diversity of Roni. No, I'm not only am not a Capricorn, but I'm not much of an astrologist. But I will tell you, I am a Leo Virgo cusp. If that means anything to you. You're gonna say, oh my God, I know it. You people are all the same, or whatever it is you people say. My wife does that. She's really into the astrology. You're born January 8th. Hopefully not this previous January 8th. That would make you a month and a half old. Definitely underage to being on TikTok. I've been sculpting at some point my whole life, but academically, say about 94. Professionally, so I graduated college and I started sculpting digitally, professionally. After that, first I worked on movies, visual effects. My first big professional piece was I sculpted on the first Harry Potter. I sculpted the troll and centaur, faces, facial expressions, face, heads, all that. And I've been working in visual effects for whatever those years would be, a few decades. What was my inspiration? Question. I think for me, right, so everybody, the vehicle inspiration is everything, right? So I can find the vehicle in a variety of senses. In this case, I found the vehicle literally through the feminine form. I literally just started sculpting a female body in an interesting form. And if one of the camera angles, you can see us drawing on the wall back there. That was my initial design, which honestly is not in any way indicative of where we ended up. So I started working with a female figure. A lot of the narrative that you're looking at came as an eventuality of working, right? So, you know, the bird, the narrative, the phoenix, the knife, all of that really just came in the doing, not in the planning, which I don't know if that's going to work for everybody. I don't know if it's going to work for me again. I don't know if next time I sculpt if I can be as free as I was this time with that narrative, like allowing that narrative to happen over time. Like, I actually really like this piece. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I don't know that this is like a model of success, how I did this. I don't think this level of exploration necessarily is always going to work. That being said, I'm not afraid of doing it again. I'm not afraid of this level of exploration. I'm not afraid of starting a sculpture with no idea of how it ends. And to be honest with you, regardless of the words I'm saying, I probably will start the next piece and have no idea how it ends before I start. Well, if I fell on it, yes. I generally don't try not to get that drunk while I'm working, so I'm not going to fall on it. And it itself is not going to fall because it's very thick steel armature. It looks lovely, as you can see. That's just steel, like the steel wobbles. It's not going anywhere. It would take a hell of a lot to significantly damage this piece. Wow, that's a mess down there. Good God. What have I missed? We're getting there. We're getting there. I'm sculpting more with feel than eyes. Feeling the surface, where is it? It's a nice symmetric, right? Like, let's say your hands, not your eyes. When your hands tell you you're touching a woman, it's very different than your eyes telling you what they see. So your eyes lie. Your hands, not so much. Wow. I don't know, Noonie. I love your sentiment, though. I think I know how you feel. I don't know that I am the source of any of that, but that's what I really like about some of the ancient religions is they never took personal value
took personal assignment of value. It's like, oh, I am Mars, the god of war. Well, what that really means is that I'm currently the manifestation of it in human form. That doesn't mean I am anything special. It means that figment, that thing, is manifesting into the world through me as a vessel, right? And so that, from that perspective, thank you. I appreciate it, and I can embrace it. I'm not anything other than a bunch of proteins organized in a certain way, but the idea that I might be the manifestation of something, manifestation of an art or a feeling or a state, very vital. So that I can appreciate being the participant of. It is weird to be at this stage of the sculpture where it's like I'm rotating around and I'm finding those places where I no longer, where I don't feel it. And it doesn't have to be detailed. Like these fingers here aren't detailed, but at the same time, when my finger touches it, does my finger tell me I'm touching a person or touching clay? And especially when it's warm, obviously it's easier, but the goal is for it to be the manifestation of a person. This I'm pretty happy with. This makes me feel like I'm touching my wife's arms, my wife's back. How did I get proportions? I'm going to give you my secret, Anna. This figure is literally my proportions, all cut in half. I did not feel like sitting there and messing around with how many heads, and I just literally decided to model myself as a female 1/2 scale. So every joint is 1/2 of mine, which seems weird, right? Because this looks small relative to a human, but I'm, come up on 6'5", 240 to 50 pounds, but I'm a big person. The sculpture is literally, let's say it's actually kind of interesting. I hadn't thought about it. The sculpture is literally half my dimensions. It's also almost half my weight. That's, 1/4 my weight, which would make sense, right? It would be, if it was 1/2 in each dimension. It's like 50 pounds of clay. So that's interesting. Hadn't thought about that. Now it's female, so she doesn't have as much mass relative to the length, so it totally makes sense. That's really interesting. So this is about 50 pounds of clay. I'm about 250 pounds, and she's 1/2 my lengths. Sorry, went off on a diatribe there. But it's interesting, right? I hadn't thought of it from that perspective of how much clay I use relative to mass and proportion and length. Well, that being said, I feel very committed to getting this surface experience. Like if you touch it, are you touching human form feeling? And sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't work right there. Something I'm doing wrong right there. Very odd. Nothing. It's a thing called the great trochanter right there, which is a bony protrusion from the femur. It actually sticks out. Gluteus maximus wraps around it, and it's not right there. Gluteus medius wraps around the other side. Gluteus minimus is generally not visible on the surface. But it does affect things that lie above it and affect the surface morphology. I've been working on this since January 7th. I'm right at about 80 hours worth of work. I know this because Tyler knows this. And by Tyler, I mean Roni. You're still on? Your hip flexor's out right now. That's no good. That sucks. All right, this area right here that I'm massaging is where you need massaged. Yeah, good night, Ronnie. Thank you for chilling, educating, informing, participating. If you're around, I'll be here tomorrow night. Sure, Clyde's still here. Cheyenne. What? How do I pronounce this? Cheyenne. Why Hirere? That's a complex name. What is that? Cheyenne obviously sounds American Indian. And we're getting there. We're getting there. As I'm molesting this leg, it feels like I'm. Except for right there. Touching, I was about to say touching even leg, except for right here. This is plastilina, oil-based clay. Little known observation there. Right. The medial, the Russians say, right? The medial hamstring, semitendinosus and arbunosus, is a little bit more protrusive than the bicep femoris when it attaches to the lower limb on the head of the tibia and fibula. So right here, it got a little bit further south. In case anybody cares. Just talking about what I'm doing now. I'm molesting this girl. I'm thinking about, does this feel real? Do I feel like I'm really molesting someone, or am I just rubbing clay, right? If I'm rubbing clay, that's one thing, but if I'm touching a person, my hands lie to me and tell me I'm touching a person, that's when we've stopped exploring. That's when we're there. Chanel, you might need to consider a few things. Perhaps unease a good thing. So right here is called the pes anserinus. It's where multiple, specifically 3 muscle groups converge, and they come in a spider-like fashion over the head of the tibia. Yes, I've got the anatomical knowledge. I had the benefit, pleasure of dissecting humans at Columbia Medical School in New York. That was just totally academic. It's not the same as what I'm doing right now. What I'm doing right now is thinking, I'm trying to connect with that part of my experience with my own mind, like, okay, are we touching clay? Or are we touching a human? And it's like I've often said, the hands know so much more than the mind. Right? There's low-level coprocessors, in modern day computer science terms, that are used to interacting with the world. There we go. And they will tell us when it's not right. Yeah, I was an animator by trade for many years, and it's all about empathy. I mean, a mediocre animator will say animation's about weight. A good animator will say it's about empathy. It's not about perception, it's about feeling. How do I keep it from drying out? It's oil-based clay, so it'll never dry out. Some of the clay in here is literally 20 years old. Yeah, that looks exactly like I thought it would. Band of Riker. Goes down the outside of the leg, outside of the vastus lateralis. Band of Riker. Thank you, Jet Li. A little Russian there. Sergey. Hello, Sergey. I don't know. I can read the rest of it. Ni смотреть дяжье чисто по такстилюи. Yeah, you lost me. Pamyati. Yeah, out of my caliber. Right out of my league. It's been a long time since I've been to Russia. I have lost my Ruski. Is she not already done? We're getting close. Like, I'm not going to diddle this forever, but I don't feel like she's done. There's some mysteries here that haven't been answered yet. And again, what I say to people is when you're still exploring, you're not done. When you're trying to impress people how good a sculptor you are, you need to be done. So I'm not trying to impress anyone yet. I'm trying to experience and explore, but we are getting close, right? Like, I think that you'll feel more if you can feel her grasping that knife. And I think the feeling her grasping that knife is going to come from sculpting the articulation of those fingers. So yeah, there needs to be exploration on this hand, for sure. It's not there yet. Really? Freya. Did we work on something together? Could be. Life is like a box of chocolates. Perhaps we did. I like the name, Freya. Celtic or Scottish, whatever that is. Freya the goddess. Yeah, I do I had done, my career has been visual effects. A lot of visual effects, couple decades, I can't say many decades, a few decades of visual effects. A lot of movies, television, commercials. Well, I hope you're saying you like the face. I mean, it's not done, but I feel like it's kind of 80% there. Needs to work. What was the most challenging and satisfying? For me, the biggest deal here was composition. Shapes. I felt really good from the beginning. The composition felt good for me from the beginning, so everything really just flowed since. But I spent a lot of time just kind of sitting here looking at it, thinking, is this the composition? And it was funny because in the beginning, this arm was about 15 degrees down, and it was terrible. Terrible. I hated it. I even had clay. It wasn't just armature, I had clay on it. And one day I was like, just grabbed a hold of it, made a mess, bent the steel, bent the arm up 15 degrees, and all of a sudden it was just like, bam, now it works. But that arm being 15 degrees off drove me psycho for like a week, honestly. Composition was everything. Freya, I remember your face. You may have. Well, Freya, what part of the world are you? Are you a Los Angeles person or Vancouver? Give me something to work with. I lived in LA for 2 decades, worked on movies. Television, bada bing, bada boom, all that. Feeling lazy, so I'm going to get out the lazy thing, which is fun, which is the torch. And this is the first time I've been in a blank TikTok. You're right. I gotta go over here because TikTok is needy. Sorry, 1 second. I'm gonna do a thing, or TikTok's gonna kick us off like a jackass. No, come on. All right, we're back. Yeah, I usually wear black tank top. You were correct. I don't think we're near that. I think your question is valid. I don't think we're there by any means. This is still very exploratory, and I'm still learning. We're still learning from this piece. This piece is still teaching me. I think that there are things I'm going to learn from this piece to apply to the next piece, that if I don't learn here, I have to learn there. So I think I'm still, if anything, I'm still trying to extract knowledge from this piece that I haven't acquired yet. I mean, honestly, I'm fairly novice when in the bigger picture. If you want to compare me to Bernini or somebody like this, I'm pretty novice still. I spent most of my life working visually, so I have a huge amount of experience. And I have a great, I have some knowledge of anatomy, and I have a great amount of experience digitally. But I have a lot to learn about this. I did it academically. I have a background in it. But, I'm not a person who's had my fingers in clay my whole life. So I think there's, some kudos or some credit to give to, first of all, people that have, right? And second, the path I have yet to travel. So I want to learn everything there is to learn from this piece before I move on to the next piece. Does that make sense? Everybody listening to me? Let me show there. Austin, Texas. I worked in LA, New York, Boston, Georgia, all over the place. All right, so we may run into each other in a few of those places. I've been all of those places. Well, I've been to Boston, but I haven't worked in Boston. That tricep is a mess. I need to remember that. Come back to it. It's not a blowtorch project. That is a get in there with my fingers and fix it tricep problem. Really do love this forearm though. The forearm is working well for me. Forearm and the general arm, other than the underlying tricep, I'm a big fan of. I'm liking how that's working. I can't look right now to see what dingled me, but I appreciate it. Dude, why can't I get that smooth? Jesus Christ. I'm going to come back and work that with my fingers. It's not working. Good God. Need more moisture if it wasn't shiny up. Moisture is not the answer because it's oil-based clay. And the whole butox region is messed up. I'm going to come back and work that. The tricep and this butox need help. Hello, Sasquatch. Well, you got the name for it. You're in the right environment for that name, I'll tell you that much. I gotta keep moving because I'll burn the clay. Sculpting with heat is a trip though. Wow, that was quite an experience I just did there. I wanted to touch it, but I know better. Well, too much heat. Gotta move on. Screwed up that area. It's a hell of a lot of fun sculpting with heat, I'll tell you that much. Subtle, you gotta keep moving, but it is fun. Now, it's only fun because I put in the work to get the underlying structure where it needed to be, because otherwise this would just make a gooey ass mess that would be useless. If it wasn't right before I did this, it's not gonna get right after, I'll tell you that much. Alright, no, playing. I'm totally playing at this point. Temple of Grandin. Temple Grandin? The autistic author? Temple Grandin? Yeah, come back, Frey. We'll keep talking. We'll figure it out. I've been off. Been paying attention. I deserve another wine. Yeah. No, I haven't done anything with Temple Grandin. I've read her book. I have read Temple's book. Yeah, that butt is a fucking mess. I have to wait for it to cool down before I touch her. I'll make a bigger mess.
Yeah, I've read Temple's book, but other than that, no. I don't have anything to do with Temple Grandin. Still too hot. Gotta cool down before I can touch it. Can't touch till it cools down. Yeah, it's hot. Hot ass mess, what it did. Face Off. Didn't work on Face Off, no. I mean, if you look at my IMDb, you'll see all the movies I worked on. Well, not all of them. Many of them. I worked on more movies than are there, but my IMDb has movie productions, if you want to quickly cross-reference anything you've been on. It's in the link tree. Crazy Talent. Oh, I thought you were about the movie Crazy Talent. I know I didn't work on Crazy Talent either. Thank you, the compliment. How did I make such a mess right here? Good God. We'll figure it out. Must be two different types of clay or something, two consistencies that are seamed right there because it totally made a mess right there. I'm gonna work it together. Let's see, maybe add some clay. Right on the sink, maybe we can blend it. How long have I been doing this? This particular piece I'm hitting on, according to the statistician there, I'm hitting on 80 hours on this piece. What is making? I'm not sure how to answer that one. Good God. You make prosthetics. Oh, did you ever work with Todd Masters? Wolfreya? I am calling this Hand of Fate. See, I want that to feel like it's really attached there, not making it. Sis needs to eat. I love that you refer to yourself as sis. Sister needs to be fed. It's like the old, what was that video game in the 80s? Warrior needs to eat, will die soon. Sister needs to eat, will die soon. I don't want to lose that feel of the way the ass pulls over what's called the ischial tuberosity, which is the protrusive part of the pelvis right there. I want to maintain that feel of that muscle stretching across it. I think I got it. Still there. Yeah, it's oil based. It's a plastilina. I don't think I'm going to separate those two muscles right there. I'm going to leave it. I was just contemplating whether I wanted to separate two heads of the bicep from Morris that actually separate right. I could create a line right there. I don't think that's going to help. Went and looked at Andy B. Some very impressive. Well, thank you. It wasn't my point trying to impress you, but I just thought maybe there'd be a convergence. Like you, like I said, maybe you weren't here, but I worked with Todd Masters. If you're in the prosthetics world, I did some work with Todd Masters, so you might know him. She's holding the knife. To answer that question, that's the intention. I obviously need to go back and work on it some more to make that work as a knife. That's the intention. So we're gonna be holding a knife. Person. Love you. Love your sentiment. Today's now taking over the mantle of the knowledge base moderator. Yes, I'm out at about 80 hours. Oh, somebody dangled me again. I'll just keep doing you. Somebody dangled me. Okay. Yes, so big ass wire. Big deal with me is this. Excuse me. This is 5/16 steel. That's what the armature is made of. Very important. I had failures early in my career, or early in my life anyway, because I didn't do a strong enough armature. So now I make an armature. At this point, I actually thought I was overkilling, but honestly, considering this is literally 50 pounds of clay, no, this is not overkill. The armature on this is the appropriate amount of killing, as it were, on this armature. Thank you. Well, I'm gonna, this one's gonna get, I think we will cast it, mold it, cast it. I'll probably do a 3D scan initially, just so we have it, and then do a casting and molding. To answer your question, what comes next? I'll probably start another piece here on the stream while I transgress towards those objectives on this piece. So you guys will get to see me start the next one, and then I'll probably come back. Let me switch off the next one and come back to this one for the casting and molding process.
She's not for somebody. She's for you. That's my answer. She's for you. I'm doing this for the stream. I'm doing this for the people watching the stream. I am doing this for you. That being said, I'm going to blow torch her ass now. So, I don't know how you feel about that. But I'm doing this for you, and I'm going to blow torch her ass now. But those two things are both true. Still not perfect. Close. Still not perfect. See, the torching, in some ways, elucidates, exposes things I've done right and things I've done wrong. So it exacerbates the right and the wrong. It's education. It's a pedagogical blow torching. Pedagogical blow torch. Still not quite right down there. So it's funny, I see the hands can see things the eyes can't, and vice versa. I can see things that I didn't feel. I'll let this cool and I'll go back. And touch it. Eyes and hands. It's getting there. It's not there yet. Getting there. Still not there. Enough of that. I would agree with you. She is looking at it as if it was one of her own. I do have kids, right? I have 3 of them. I mean, 3 people. 3 little me's out there. They're going to be freaking huge. One step closer. Still not done. Asymptotal line. Infinitely closer without ever getting there. I'm going to actually, no, I won't be live for a while. I think I'm just about done for the night, to be honest with you, Tay. It's just about time for me to shut down. Feeling the call of the wild, as it were, to pass the hell out. Took the kids to school in the morning. Tomorrow was Wednesday. Took the kids to school in the morning with weights. Got a bunch of work to do for Tosca's movie. She's a cranky woman. So I will likely shut down here shortly. So yeah, if you're gonna go for a smoke break, I probably won't be able to get back. 9 p.m. So I'll be on tomorrow night, about 9 p.m. Central Standard U.S. time, wherever you are. That's approximately what I'll be on tomorrow night. Thursday night, I'm going to be traveling to Los Angeles. I won't be live. But tomorrow night, I should be on around
9 p.m. Central. So, love to see you. Be cool. More of the same. More introspective jargons from Beau in the Dark. All right, love you guys. Love you for showing up, participating, enjoying, being, making art today. We will converge manana, 9 p.m. Central.